that the wind?
Ah! So you come crawling back, you cheap sack of...
Do you want to form an alliance with me? Absolutely, I do. Good.
Go outside, nerd. Get out. Go.
Oh my God, I did not think he was going to do that. That scared me. That actually scared me a little bit.
It's called Two Brothers. Two Brothers. It's just called Two Brothers.
And friend, welcome back, Josh. It's been a minute, man.
Month and a half.
How you been?
Well,
dude?
technically, he was still on the podcast, so
Yeah, we kept you in spirit on our podcast without your permission, but I mean,
I think I like it that way.
Seriously?
yeah. Well, there he is. There he is, right there.
Are you okay with Coke?
Welcome to Two Brothers. We are joined once again by Josh and Eric.
Whoa. Why did you emphasize his name more than mine? Like, is he special to me?
I didn't say anything about him being more
You're like,
You want to redo that?
I'm
All
just
right.
kind of
Redo
jealous.
it again.
All right, well, okay. All right. welcome to Two Brothers. We're joined by Josh and our dearest friend, Eric.
Whoa.
It's been a minute since we recorded with these guys, but I think since our hiatus, the last episode we recorded was our top 5 underrated horror films.
Mm-hmm.
And Josh, you made some compelling arguments for some movies, and so we had to take it upon ourselves to watch one of them at least. Same with Edgar. And I know that we also made some compelling arguments for movies for you guys to watch. So we're gonna get into those. Basically, what's going on here, guys, is we kind of just swapped films amongst ourselves from that list. So if you're gonna be confused at all, please go back and watch that episode of our top 5 underrated horror movies to see or to hear what our films were, and come back and listen to this, because this is kind of like a companion piece to that one, a follow up to that. It's been a month, Josh, so you got some homework that you got done, right? Some films that you've seen.
Homework?
Mm-hmm.
Homework.
Oh,
You sound like
starting to stress.
yeah.
Me too.
You did fantastic. You already seen the movies. That was all the homework you needed to do.
Are you okay with Coke?
I actually have that right here.
Are you okay with Coke?
Wow, now there's fucking 2 Joshes
Right?
on this podcast. It's great. You know?
Nobody asked you to push that button. These gentlemen miss me so much. Is this like football?
Is this like football? It's like echoing that. So.
It's echoing, right?
All right, hold on. Let's
Cinema.
try that. That's the other one I have.
Which one?
All right, I'm gonna say it right. I'm gonna play the football one, and then I want you to say it, Josh. Hold on.
Is this like football? Is this like football?
No, I think this one does it better than I think. I think we're gonna keep this.
You guys are forcing me, man. I have to be in the moment, gentlemen.
Anyways, please like and share and subscribe so you can listen to more of this dumb shit with us.
For the love of God, please like.
And, yeah, follow
please,
us on
comment,
our socials.
Comment.
Comment, please. Tell us if you guys like Coke and the drink. And
No.
No, the drink, Josh. We're not trying to hook people into some other. Okay,
my bad.
And follow us on
Drug
our socials.
dealers, please collab.
So TikTok, it's called Two Bros, and on Instagram. And let's get into it. Dude.
Right,
Let's get into it. Eric has seen most of them.
Oh, so we're jumping there.
No.
Oh,
We're
okay.
gonna save him for last
Yeah.
because he has. I'm excited to hear what he has to say. 'cause
I actually
he's seen
took the episode seriously.
He
Decided
actually
to
did his
watch the
homework.
fucking movies.
He did the homework, Josh. You see what I'm saying?
No one told me about no homework. My bad.
So we're gonna save Eric for last. Who wants to go first?
Can we talk about what today is, by the way? What is today?
Today is Friday the 13th. So it's this
Shout out
episode.
Mrs. Voorhees.
Come
Shout
on.
out Jason.
This is gonna be a jinxed episode now. It's been cursed.
God.
Right?
Happy birthday, Josh.
What?
Yeah, well, the 12th.
Yeah,
Happy birthday.
Oh,
yesterday
40 years
was.
old.
Happy belated
Looking great,
birthday.
looking good, looking sexy still.
Oh, thank you. I feel like I've aged terribly. But
I don't agree, but it's I've known you now for probably 13 years now,
13 years.
something like that, which is like kind of hard for me to believe. I don't mean to hijack real
No,
quick,
no,
but
no,
I just
no,
wanted
go
to
for
shout
it.
out.
I didn't even know.
I appreciate that.
Happy birthday! I
Yeah.
appreciate you. Love you.
Yeah, love you too, bud.
Thanks for having me.
Awkward
everybody.
high five.
Yeah, and
It's not porn. It's movie.
it's cinema.
Oh, it's
Okay. All right. Yeah. So it is Friday the 13th, and I guess it was Josh's birthday yesterday. He didn't. I didn't know, but happy belated birthday, Josh.
I just want to let you guys know, like, I didn't want to do this podcast because it was my birthday yesterday. I wanted to do it because it was
No.
Friday the 13th.
Well, okay. All right.
I just, like,
All right, all right,
please,
all right.
please.
No,
Yeah, yeah.
no, he's lying.
So like, who wants to go first? Edgar, I think you know what. I pick on you first, dude.
motherfucker. Okay.
Edgar's assignment was to watch
The Crow.
Prince. Well, that's another episode, Josh. Prince of Darkness. Now, why did you choose this one out of all that were on the lists?
I think it was on Eric's list.
It was on your list.
I think so.
It was on mine and Josh's.
Okay.
Oh, really?
That's right.
It was
It
the
was-
one movie that made 2 lists.
Oh shit. Okay.
But I mean, yeah, definitely speak to Josh.
Okay.
Whoa. What does that mean? What's
I got your back. Hey, I got your back in case this goes left.
if he likes it, it's on you.
Oh.
If he hates it, fuck. It's on
Okay. Look, I even said I think it was after we finished. Like, I'm gonna watch that one,
Yeah.
and I did. I saw it yesterday. Look,
Not great for.
it's not. I'm not gonna say that.
Okay.
I'm undecided.
Undecided.
Yes.
This is going to determine whether we actually respect Edgar.
Okay.
I just want to
This may
Evil
be
Dead
your last
remake.
episode. I think is what they're implying.
go ahead.
I'm undecided because it's one. I think it's one of those films you gotta watch again, if that makes sense. Right? It really is. It starts really slow.
Which
Okay.
would, yeah, that's what you guys.
I think that's what they
right?
said too, right?
Uh-huh.
But I appreciate it because it sets up the story.
The story, the
Yeah,
everything.
and
That, yeah,
I don't know if it was in the same movie they were talking about how it starts weird,
yeah.
like with the cuts and shit like that. I was used to that.
The intro.
The intro, yeah.
Yeah.
So it didn't throw me off. It was like I felt like I seen that before, so it wasn't really off-putting. I think that's what it was. I was expecting more out of it, because John Carpenter is one of my favorite directors.
Yeah, this is a John Carpenter film. Hold on, before you continue, because people may not know what this movie's about. Let me just hit them
Oh,
with,
yeah, go
with
ahead.
the synopsis real quick. A group of graduate students and scientists uncover an ancient canister in an abandoned church, but when they open the container, they inadvertently unleash a strange liquid and an evil force. Does that sound right?
Yes.
It is.
Yeah,
all right. So
that's
I just
perfect to a
want
T.
for those
Perfect summary.
who don't know what Prince of Darkness is about.
You know you're
Before
going
you
to do that for
continue.
every movie that we
I
talk
might
about.
have to, yeah. I might have to
please
do
do.
that. I'm gonna get him queued up. But anyways, go
I
ahead.
forgot where I was at. Oh, like he's one of my favorite directors,
Mhm.
and I don't want to say I was expecting more. I was just like too excited. Like I can't explain it, but that's the thing that threw me off. It's like, let's say if it's recommended in our last episode, right? Like they were in their top 5,
Yeah.
and thank God they didn't mention that it's a slow like build up and all that. And I can see like I'm trying to explain it. Like I can understand. I can like it would be not polarizing for people to watch it now.
Yeah.
So I kind of saw that in that mindset
So
also.
it was jarring for you to watch.
Yeah,
You weren't expecting what you were expecting.
yeah.
Okay.
I'll say this: like the atmosphere is fucking great.
John Carpenter's great
Yeah.
at fucking atmosphere.
Yes.
Like
How was the meat done? Go ahead. I don't
like
know.
the homeless people first. Like they're fucking like just coming out of nowhere, right? No
Damn.
explanation, no nothing
Uh-huh.
until later, right? But he's like, what's going on with these homeless people, right? They start hanging around the church and all that.
Wow,
And
damn.
the students noticed that too. Like it was a creepy. Like there was this. I forgot her name, but she's looking out the window. She's talking to the Asian guy, I think.
Yeah.
And she's like, I studied schizophrenic people and da 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 da, and then they they do this certain pattern, and these homeless people haven't moved. They just sit there or just stand there.
Okay.
And it cuts to that, and like it cuts back and forth. It's like, what the fuck? Like, it's kind of unsettling. And Alice Cooper's in it.
Alice Cooper's in it?
Yeah, Alice Cooper. That's it.
Yep.
Is he the Prince of Darkness in the movie?
That'd
No.
be cool, right? No, he's like the main homeless guy, basically.
Oh, okay.
So he has that fucking creepy, pale fucking face in there. It stands out.
Okay.
But towards like, he came in when I was still watching.
Yeah, I came in and watched a little bit of it. I was like, what the fuck is
yeah.
going on? Yeah.
And I would say, I don't know if it's like close to this end of that second act, continue to the third. That's when it starts
really picking up.
Yeah, it picks up. Okay. And that's where I got my attention. It's like, okay, now this is what I was expecting.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. It's starting to align with your expectations.
I liked how I don't want to call it. I was looking at the back of the box, and it was saying zombies.
It said zombie.
Yeah, I say they like more like a mindless humans in that sense.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not zombies. I don't know why they label that, but I like that too. That aspect, how they're just like they spit sound like not acid, but like goo.
Yeah.
And that's how you transform into like this, like the mindless type of, you know.
What?
And there's just a lot of scenes that towards that end of the movie that really sticks out. Even
so it's
like
a trip. Then.
There's another one too. I think it's one of the students. He's outside, and he gets stabbed. I don't know who. I think it's one of the homeless guys, right?
Yeah.
Alice Cooper.
Oh, was it Alice Cooper?
I think
too?
so. Yeah.
and they were looking for him too. It's like, where's this guy? And da 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 da. And again, they look out the window, and he's just standing there.
Yeah.
And his voice is like distorted.
Distorted.
Yes. And that was creepy too. I like that. And it's like, there's. I don't think you were there, right? You
was
were
it
there.
with the bugs?
Yeah, with the bugs.
I saw that too, and I was like, it's so well done.
Yeah, that part was well done.
What year did this movie come out?
87.
87. Okay. Yeah, John Carpenter's always been a master at like visuals and like practical effects and stuff.
Oh
like
yeah.
that, so.
It just, like I said, I didn't dislike it or liked it. I think it's, again, I gotta watch it again to appreciate it more.
That's a mark of a good movie.
Yeah, see, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah. I did research on it, like reviews, and it's mixed. It's like people say it's okay. Some people say it's like John Carpenter's like one of the best, underrated, and all that. Okay. So I kind of like I don't know where
you don't know where you're on the spectrum.
Yeah.
Is it fair to say that maybe you kind of are in the middle, or you're questioning it because you have to watch it again because we maybe overhyped it potentially?
I think so. Yeah.
Man, that's like my biggest fear too, because like it was on my top 5 greatest horror movies of all time.
Underrated or also on greatest?
And also underrated.
Okay.
You know, and then I know I've been wanting you guys to watch it because it is a masterpiece. But when he recommended it to me, he was just like, "Go watch it, just watch it, right?"
Yeah.
And then I didn't know. I went in not knowing what to expect, and I was like, "Oh shit," you know. And I enjoyed it in one sitting. But that's always the fear is when you recommend something and you speak highly of something it creates some type of doubt.
Yeah, you putting it on a pedestal almost.
Yeah.
And it's like it's never going to live up to what. Yeah. Okay.
So my bad, dude.
No. It's not you guys' fault.
What did you think about the ending?
Nah, that's what I was going to go at.
Also, so also let me say the spoilers for all these movies.
Are we spoiling?
Yes,
we are.
Yes.
We have to.
Spoil away.
So from this
But
point
first,
on,
I want to keep
spoilers.
talking about like things that I really enjoyed out of it, though.
Yeah.
There's scenes that it jumps to like a video camera type of thing, like someone's
POV?
recording,
like a POV.
POV.
Okay.
And there's like this voiceover, kind of like this again, like you can understand what's going on, and it's like saying, "You're not real," or da 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 da, and it takes this year, or it takes place the year 1999, but they say it weirdly. It's like 1999.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's kind of cool because it's kind of like it's not scary, but it's like, oh, I'm intrigued. Like, you know. And it pans out. It's like, and then there's like this figure coming out of this. I don't want to say church. It doesn't look like a church, but he's coming out of this.
Yeah, like this building.
And then it just cuts to that, and it keeps jumping back to it. And
Oh, is this the movie that you guys were saying that like it like the intro keeps jumping to different people?
No.
oh no,
Okay.
oh, let him
yeah.
explain it to you if you want.
Well, no, you were. He's
No, keep
describing
going.
perfectly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
It's
thought I got
perfect
it confused with a different movie. I think.
No,
Okay,
it's
keep
just,
going.
I think that's if you're watching, it's kind of jarring in a way too,
Yeah.
because it just cuts to that thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the same video. Like you're in the wrong, da 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 da. And
Yeah.
it takes year 999, right? Okay, now towards the end, I like the way it ended. It's leaves you interpretation of it.
Okay. An ambiguous.
Yes.
Ambiguous ending. Okay.
Okay, let's spoil it. I guess one of the students is like, I don't want to say is the main vessel of what's going on.
Yeah.
I think you were there too when she was like speeding.
Oh, with the eyes.
with the eyes and shit. That's her. And like she keeps like decomposing and all that crazy shit.
Yeah.
And there's this, I guess, a mirror that's where the evil is coming out, basically. And she's like reaching out for it to come out, and it shows the hand, and it's the devil, basically. And one of the students, like, she's kind of like debating to save, I guess, her boyfriend at the time. They have a thing going on in the movie,
Right.
or like stop what's going on.
Uh-huh.
So she decides to stop the evil that's coming out of this mirror.
Mirror, yeah.
And she accidentally jumps into it too.
Oh shit.
And fucking Donald Pleasance comes out with a fucking axe and he says a one-liner.
Really? Oh, this is a one-liner?
Yeah, it's weird.
You guys remember what it was?
Like,
Yeah.
there's like he peeks out. It's like, "Ah!"
Then he fucking I shot him 6 times and he fucking threw the
Yeah.
Guys, this is a very serious moment of the movie, by the way.
Yes, it is.
What,
he fucking tomahawked that mirror?
Yeah, it was like an axe. And it was
A massive axe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just flicked.
like ah. But and then she got stuck in the that world
the
basically.
other world.
Yeah.
Like Silent Hill.
And you know what it was?
Well, no, hold on. The scene you're talking about in the mirror. The woman that's decomposing, she's actually possessed by the devil,
yeah.
and he's trying to pull out his maker, his dad.
Oh,
That's what that is.
Oh, okay.
So they were talking about like the Prince of Darkness, because there's God who brings the light, and then there's the reverse God that brings the darkness, right? So the story tells like Lucifer fell from heaven and then he's on earth, but then it's like Jesus comes, but he's an alien. He's like, hey, we're warning you about this guy. Right? So they're basically telling the story, and then he's trying to free like his dad, which is not God. It's like the anti-God.
Okay,
The god of darkness, like so he's the prince of darkness. So he's trying to pull his dad out, but yeah, it's like a red hand,
Yeah,
with
so
like
yeah.
black fingernails coming out, and you only see it for just like this brief moment, and then it's over. And that's what I think I loved about the way it ended, is because it was like, just let it go. Don't let's not make a sequel. Let's not do
Yeah.
it again.
Yep.
Let that one be, because you don't get to see things like that, and that's what I think where people are confused. I think they think because it's like a red hand with black nails, that must be she's possessed by him. And he's trying to pull it out so they can kind of reunite and then just kind of bring darkness.
No, is that the canon interpretation, or is that your interpretation?
No, that's what it is.
Oh, that's what it is.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because Lucifer's he's in the tube.
Yeah, he's in the
Yeah.
His essence,
Ah,
is
okay.
in the canister, and they release it, and he starts to manipulate and affect like the surroundings.
Right,
and then
right.
He possesses her, and then
Interesting.
she's like,
He-
Father.
It's been so long since I've seen it, but he's like trying to like make it so evil and to the point where it's makes it easier for him to get out.
Yes.
Oh, so
Yeah.
he's
type of
he's
thing. Yeah.
creating all this evil to make it like
Like
He's
this
influencing the
chaos,
world.
all this things around him in this church, and then he uses the vessel so that he can walk on Earth again.
Yeah.
That's such a very original premise.
That's
That's really cool. That's really cool.
It's a very simple movie,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
and it's so freaking well done, and I think that's why it deserves so much love.
It has its like little weird moments.
Yeah.
okay. Thinking of that.
Yeah.
Does it have to do with Donald Pleasance again, or no? Okay.
No, it's the Asian guy.
Wow.
I don't. No,
He's sitting right here. Come on.
Wow, guys.
No, after that, the mirror breaks and all that, like then everybody like the evil essence goes away, right?
Yeah.
I like this, like the character. He's the only one that fucking left. He just fuck this. He just fucking breaks the window. It just starts.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he just fuck this shit. He's done.
That's kind of cool.
But yeah,
I thought you were gonna say like you were disappointed because he wasn't doing like kung fu or something.
oh my
like
god,
Yeah, it wasn't Karate
Yeah,
Kid
it
or
wasn't-
something.
Ninja kick the devil.
there's moments like that that really are creepy. Like even the guy who stabs himself in the neck, right?
Oh, I remember.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah. Like first he's doing like a it's not it's like he's doing a prayer, I think. While he's climbing up the stairs, and that was kind of creepy, because like you can tell like he's fighting it, if that makes sense.
While also being
Like
consumed by it.
consumed by it. That's why he's doing that prayer. The thing about that video, it changes towards the end, and it hints at the girl that got trapped in the mirror thing, and that was cool too. Like, well, I was gonna go with the ending. Okay, let's go to the ending, right? It doesn't explain if they're still in that
the
church.
world or- okay.
It just cuts to the guy having a nightmare, and he wakes up.
Yeah, there's a guy we haven't talked about, but like he's sort of a main character.
Yeah,
He has like a romantic interest in this girl
who's the one who got into
she tackles the girl that's possessed into the mirror. That's
Yeah.
what happens. And so they both get like sucked in there, and he's all, at the end dreaming about her and shit. So.
Yeah.
But that like video that goes through
yeah.
the entire movie, like like little flashes of it, he like envisions it in a nightmare.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
And it's her, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
she's like standing there, right?
Yeah.
Remember? Yeah, like in the.
Then he wakes up and he goes towards a mirror and he tries to touch it, and then that's how it ends.
Awesome.
So like I said, it's open if it's to your
Yeah.
interpretation. Well, how I'm going to end it is like I feel like what I noticed about John Carpenter's work is that all of them is now considered a masterpiece.
Or at the very least, like aged really well.
Which is ironic in a way. Like at the time, I can't believe like people didn't get what he was doing, right? Like it was The Thing, Prince of Darkness, In the Mouth of Madness, all these other ones. Vampire was great.
Yeah.
No, just kidding.
I hold that close to my heart, actually.
You said you were kidding. I think I'm just kidding.
And don't forget Halloween.
Halloween. But
Better than
this
Scream.
trilogy that he did is called
Can
the
you please?
Apocalypse trilogy. It was The Thing, Prince, and In the Mouth.
This was
So
his
that was just like his little
Apocalypse
trilogy that he had.
Interesting.
And it's really interesting if you think about it. Like he was ahead of his time. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it, go to his wiki and click any of his films except for the later ones.
Yeah.
Then we're talking about his 80s work. A cult following, considered the best.
Yep.
Top 5.
Or it's the opposite too. Sometimes where you read the initial reviews where it's like it wasn't received well and negative reviews and
No, yeah.
But yeah, no, this guy was ahead of the curve
Would you say he's the GOAT
of horror.
of horror?
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Like you guys said, that's a fucking original idea. Man.
Okay, so look, I've told Edgar this before, but I remember listening to the Nas album, his first one. It's called Illmatic.
Yeah.
And I was reading like all about the legacy of it in Wikipedia, and Busta Rhymes said that like if hip hop were to like die off and we had to rebuild it, Nas's Illmatic would be like the blueprint for hip hop to come back. I think John Carpenter, as a director for horror, his films are a blueprint for horror. If horror were to ever lose its way, I think John Carpenter is like a perfect template to make horror films.
So like, somebody is great when someone else that I know, like in all seriousness, like Scream, right? The battle of all battles, Scream versus Halloween. But when you have someone as great as Wes Craven too, like acknowledge John Carpenter's greatness, like you know that man is the GOAT, right?
Yeah.
You know, so two guys top of the game, and it's like Wes Craven was saying, John Carpenter, I'm here because of you.
Every head must bow, kind of.
Yep.
To John Carpenter, yeah.
Like even like Christine and like I said, it's early work.
Nice pull, Enter.
Good pull.
Like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Even people at the time was like, no, it's not as great. Now it's like,
Oh, dude, Christine.
see, that's
How could we
think
forget
about,
that
I know.
Think
Yeah.
about that, man.
Yeah.
Now in the present day, it's considered fucking great. Like I said, top 5, all this.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, what I was trying to get is like, it's sad because I think he was discouraged with all these negative reviews, and I feel like people at the time didn't get his vision.
Was he discouraged? I feel like he really kept fucking like doubling down.
Or like if sorry, Jesus, this is longer than I thought.
Yeah, this has become.
Well, hold
John
on.
Carpenter.
Well, you guys keep adding to it.
Yeah, no, but
Edgar and the guys.
Like
Remember that?
the director chair with Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah.
He talks about the making of The Thing,
mm-hmm.
and how he put a lot of passion into it and all this. And when they released, again, people fucking didn't like it, and that really discouraged him. He said he even said I was done with filmmaking after that.
Mm-hmm.
So how you know
How do you come back from
yeah.
that? Kinda, yeah.
And I think he kept continue doing films, but to him that was like this is it. Like you guys
Don't
keep
understand.
fucking like
Don't understand what I'm doing, but
he kept going, but at the same time, let's say like each release of his films like not great, or this wasn't good, or da 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 da.
Yeah.
It's discouraging. If that wasn't the case, if he had like people would say what they were saying now, we would get to see more of John Carpenter today, I think. But to me, I feel like he got discouraged. He was done.
Yeah. But he got the last laugh, man. I feel like everything that you play, even like Dead Space or watch nowadays, is like clearly John Carpenter's DNA is in it.
Yep.
Somehow,
Truth.
I like how he is now. He's fucking cool. All he wants to do is get high and play
video games. That's what he
but he said if he was going to come back, he wants to do Dead Space.
Yeah.
So give the man the fucking...
Before, he doesn't have much time left, man.
Give it to
Dead
him.
Space.
And let that be his grandson opus type of thing.
His crowning achievement.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would be his crowning achievement, but definitely like the feather in his cap.
Yeah, give it to him.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. I'd agree.
So sorry, I just want to say I'm undecided. I think it's one of those you have to go back to.
Edgar, I feel like your review for Prince of Darkness was very much like the movie. You kind of were... It was a little bit jarring at first, but I think you pulled us all in. I think you
really
even convinced me to fucking watch it.
Okay.
I feel like
I
you liked
job,
it.
Really? Yeah, I felt like
you're like
gave us?
Yeah, you sounds like you fucking praised it, actually.
Really? Okay.
Like, you really watched
like
the
a
movie.
tiny bit of like maybe something unsatisfactory in the movie, and then like the rest was. Yeah.
Maybe the beginning was like the one that's like Jesus Christ, this takes forever.
So question: if you were to rate that movie
Right now,
what would you rate it? 1 out of 10.
well, I don't know. The way you guys told me, like I praised the shit.
Hey, we're not putting expectations on you. We're not telling you to give it a 10.
Yeah.
But it sounds like it's up there.
7.5.
7.5.
Okay, no, that's good.
I thought he was going to say a 9.
I think you say 8, but all right.
No, we'll take 7.5 on that.
I think that's fair.
Well, I feel like it's gonna evolve.
That's what I'm saying.
I think so too.
I think once
so
it
too.
settles in,
Yeah.
One last thing about Prince of Darkness before we move on.
Go ahead.
This is very I was just, as you were talking about it, I was thinking like, wait a minute, how did I see this movie? And I had to reflect because I've told him to watch it, told you to. I was living in Wyoming, and my parents. This was a long time ago. I was probably like in my teens, and I remember I was up late, back when it was like they had cable. And it was like midnight, and I remember I got done watching something, and I was getting ready to turn the TV off, and I hit the menu. It showed the next movie. You could flip over and look like TV Guide on there.
Yeah.
And I saw the title, and I'd never heard of it. For some reason,
You were compelled.
yeah, I clicked over,
Yeah.
compelled, read the synopsis, stayed up and watched it. And here we are talking about it. It's just weird that I was like a 17, 18-year-old sitting in my room, and I never thought I'd be sitting like 20 years later talking about it.
And you planted the seed.
Yeah, and
For
it
us
was
to
just
watch
it's
that
just
movie.
weird. This was
Yeah.
not something I was like streaming. This was back when like, okay, this is on. I can't
was-
rewind. I can't,
I was gonna just say, like, what you described as an experience, I think all of us here had at one point of our life.
Yeah.
Where it's like you didn't go check on Rotten Tomatoes.
Nope.
Like, nothing,
Yeah.
You didn't have
Yep.
that. It was like you're fucking taking a gamble,
Split second. Am I going to stay up
know?
another 2 hours
Yeah.
right now? Yep.
and it's
Bang.
you don't get those experiences anymore where you're just like fucking like Edgar said, like you went to go see Look Back in theaters. You didn't see no trailers, no nothing. You just here's my money, give me a ticket. I'm gonna go watch this movie. You don't get those anymore.
I know. It's such a great
You know?
feeling,
Yeah.
especially when you walk out and you just feel like you won. You're like, yes.
Yeah, like
you know?
my
Yep.
time was not fucking wasted.
No, not at
It was
all.
worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's Prince of Darkness. I think you convinced me
Okay,
to watch it. Because I only seen bits and pieces when you're watching it, but now I'm like compelled to. So
We did it.
Okay.
Thank you, Edgar.
Well,
we
one out
appreciate
of
it.
two though. Like this guy
Hey,
still
I
doesn't
know.
watch it. We'll get there.
Okay,
Maybe
yeah.
next
Sounds
year.
like
Maybe next year.
Maybe
Yeah,
next
yeah,
year.
yeah.
I guess he pointed at you now.
yeah. No, I'm next.
Okay, go ahead.
I gotta talk about the movie I
I'm
watched.
stressed about this one.
Let me give a brief synopsis before I get into it. So it's called Cronos, directed by Guillermo del Toro. Came out in 1992. It's about a mysterious device designed to provide its owner with eternal life, resurfaces after 400 years, leaving a trail of destruction in its path. And quite fitting that I watched this movie. I didn't know when I was watching it. It takes place during Christmas time. It's like, oh shit, that's kind of cool. It's a little bit, like timely. I wrote notes. I'm gonna read them off because this is what I wrote as I was watching it. So I put Del Toro's first feature film, cinematography by Guillermo Navarro. I bring that up because the cinematography I really was fucking digging it. Also really like the score. The score of this film, I think I wrote it here. It says, music is gripping. Another reason why score can sometimes make the movie. It gives a bump in making it feel grandiose. For a movie in 1992, the music sounds like something out of almost like a Disney movie, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of gives us this very empowering, I don't know, I fucking liked it. Fresh-faced Ron Perlman's in here. He can speak Spanish well, I wrote. Didn't know that. The props in the film are well crafted, adds to the aesthetic, and that's just another thing about Del Toro that I fucking really adore, is that he's just very adamant about doing practical effects, not minimal special effects. But this is the 90s. Also didn't know it takes place during Christmas. That's what I just said. Feels so far more like a drama than a horror. It was very slow start. You get the scene with the owner of the shop, the antique shop, and he's opening up this the statue that has the scarab in it, or the device, the Cronos device, and stuff like that. It's all in Spanish also, but the narrator talks in English. When I was watching it, I was listening to the narrator talk, and I was like, let me put subtitles on. I was like, why the fuck isn't the subtitles turning on? And I was like, no, it's just the narrator piece. And then it all is mostly in Spanish. I was like, oh, okay, cool, that's fine. Fair enough. I wrote the actor's name down here. Federico Lupi is great as Jesus Grease. So is Ron, very charismatic. Adds a lot to the adds a lot of flavor. Oh, dude, Ron Perlman is fucking awesome.
He's an underrated actor.
Yeah, I like the scene where he goes in to buy the artifact, or what he thinks is in there, and he's telling him what do you guys think? And he's putting up those little slides for his nose because he's obsessed with the plastic surgery for his nose and shit. I thought that was there's some humor in here. I didn't expect there to be some fucking humor in here. Then after a while, I put that Federico. I like the moment when Jesus is in the bathroom licking the blood off of the floor.
It's highlight.
That was shit was unsettling, dude.
Yeah.
So Edgar, if you don't know, what happens here is Jesus finds the Cronos device, and he gets stabbed with it. He almost becomes obsessed with continuing to use it. He realizes he's starting to reverse in age. He's starting to become younger, and he continues to use it. And he feels compelled to for a blood, And you start to kind of put it together. Oh, it's like a fucking vampire and shit like that. But he goes to meet another person who also wants to get his hands on the Cronos device because he's dying and he wants to use it so he can get eternal life. And I like the moment where he goes in there and he like hands him what he thinks is the Cronos device, and he goes in there to try to get more information about what the Cronos device is. And then when Jesus leaves, the guy opens it and it's just like a bunch of locks and shit, and he got tricked by Jesus and all that. Anyways, it's very interesting to see like the de-evolution of this character like turning into a vampire. You know, a lot of fucking shit happens to him. Anyways, let me continue reading off my notes. So far, the film was pretty well paced. I was expecting to fall asleep to this movie, guys, because I was watching it late at night. But my eyes were fucking glued to the screen. I was really enjoying the film. It was really good. I liked it. And for Guillermo's like first feature film, dude, he did goated, I think. Guillermo shines when he's comfortable with confronting the idea of death in all its aspects, from dressing up a corpse to the cremation. There's almost like a playfulness to it that makes it a bit uncomfortable to watch. So there's a moment, and I wrote it here, there's some dark humor with Tito. He's the guy that works at this like cremation thing where he like dresses up the corpses for like funerals and shit. There's a scene when he's like burning Jesus's corpse because Jesus dies by Ron Perlman's character. He like fucking pushes him off a cliff and he's inside of a car and shit. Sorry, I'm all over the place. I'm reading off the notes. And Ron Perlman wants to see Jesus's body one last time, and Tito tells him like, "So you want to see him medium or well done?" Because he's like fucking burning and shit. I was uncomfortable watching him like dress up this character and shit like that. He's talking to him and everything. And then for him to just kind of be so like humorous during this very dark moment, really cool. The Cronos device is named after the Greek god of time. Just thought I'd put it in there just for the audiences. And then this is my last note. The film sets the trend of future Del Toro films of breaking the stereotypes that monsters are evil. Not all of them are, as is the case with Jesus, who rejects the idea of eternal life at the end, disgusted with what he's become. That's what I wrote for all the notes. And this movie was great. Great recommendation, Josh. I really liked it. That last note is what I really took away from that film.
Yeah.
It's like Guillermo del Toro finds a way to kind of humanize monsters.
Yes.
You know, he does it with nearly all his films.
Pan's Labyrinth, Lady in
Lady
the
in the Water. I think even...
You mean Shape of Water?
Is it
or
Shape? Yeah, Shape of Water. Shape of Water.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Even Hellboy.
Hellboy too. Yeah. So, such a great fucking film. I enjoyed it. I was expecting it to be more violent, more like gory, but still was just kind of impressed that this was like his first feature film. You know, the music was fantastic. Like I said, the acting was great. I didn't know that there was like a spin-off.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
I think it centers around. All I know is that the character Tito comes back. The guy was like at the cremation thing, and the movie's called "We Are What We Are." I think I don't know much about it, but I guess it's like a spin-off to it. But no, this movie's fucking fantastic.
Wow.
And I enjoyed it quite a bit. It was really, really well done. I was expecting it to be more like, oh, there's some parts I like, some parts I didn't. No, dude, it was like from start to finish, such a great fucking film.
So, 1 out of 10.
I'm not saying this because I'm being hyperbolic. I'm probably gonna give it a 10.
Wow. What the fuck?
Ooh, I know that's high praise, but I'm trying to like scrutinize and think of like what I didn't enjoy about the film, but there's really nothing I didn't like dislike.
Would you say it's a perfect movie?
I think so, but I'm gonna put a caveat. I don't know if I'd watch it again though.
Yeah.
Like I think I'm good. with one viewer.
It's a weird feeling. I know what you mean. Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is great. I don't have any like incentive to want to watch it again.
Yeah.
But it's definitely like, oh, that's a fucking great film.
Yeah. So, hearing you guys talk about these movies like previous day, I appreciate that a lot, because a lot of these movies I kind of like thought about, and I haven't watched for like over a decade.
Yeah.
So I knew these were great. I knew they were underrated.
Seeing it through our lenses, kind of.
Yeah, because I honestly felt like I didn't do justice in a lot of these movies, even though I knew they were great. It was hard to kind of tell the story when you're thinking 10 years. So to hear you guys talk about it, and luckily we they're kind of great.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
I mean, you did a good enough job for us to want to watch it. So I mean, that's.
Great reviews.
Well, did you guys watch all your movies like last minute too? Like rewatch them, or has it been a minute since you guys watched them?
Oh wait, what's
Oh, you're talking about like Barbarian and all those that you watched? We watched them.
Well, Barbarian is new.
Recently, I don't know actually. I have to remember what I put on my list.
Yes.
That's the thing.
A lot of yours you didn't watch for a while too.
Yeah, I mean, some of them years. I mean, I was like just thinking about it in the car ride over here.
Yeah. And I felt like I didn't do much justice for mine, but to hear you guys talk about this stuff, it's really refreshing. You're giving them justice, I feel like. Which I
mean, that's
appreciate.
good. That's what I was hoping to do. So, but I'm personally excited to hear what you guys have to say. Well, what you thought. So,
garbage.
All right, I
thought we
ended here.
What we last? So
the Eric is last, but I mean you're gonna jump in with Barbarian.
Is that what you're talking about?
No, you're talking about Dr. Sleep. Sorry.
Go.
Dr. Sleep.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Josh.
So Dr. Sleep was actually a movie I had seen, like when it first came out. I did like it. I did enjoy it. You did a great job actually elevating it. So I really felt like I needed to watch it again. And I felt like I also needed to watch it again because The Shining was on my greatest, top 5 greatest movies, horror movies of all time. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you, this watch, and one of the reasons I want to talk about this is because this watch, the second watch, man, this movie is fantastic. It is amazing. And it is the definition of a perfect movie.
Ah, you motherfucker.
Holy.
No, I was going to pull a Josh like,
shit.
You say it's a great film?
Would you say it's a masterpiece?
I'm going to say it right now. I'm going to give it 10.
I haven't even heard your review. You're giving it a 10.
I'm giving it a 10.
All right.
The first 15 minutes of the movie, the main character, Dr. Sleep, from the events after The Shining when he's a child, right? And it shows that a lot of the ghosts or whatever have followed him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, and he doesn't know how to confront them, and then he runs into
I forget what his name is, but
I forget his name as well. And he kind of shows him the secret of how to deal with them, what to put them in the box,
to put them in, trap them in their box.
You know, and then the second when he closes the door, goes into the bathroom, closes the door, and then it transitions to when he's an adult. And at this point, obviously, he's struggling. He's a drug.
So at first, like what you mentioned, is like he was a fucking alcoholic, drug addict, right? He's like down on his fucking. He's like in his 30s, right, or like late 30s. Mm-hmm. But then time cuts and he's like 10 years later. And he's like, go ahead. He's like sober and everything.
Yeah. So then he's an adult. Yeah, and it shows that he's a drug addict. His final draw was like he slept with that girl, and then she's passed out. And then he finds out that she has a baby.
Yep.
And then he takes the baby and puts the baby on the bed. And then he leaves. Mm-hmm. Right?
I think he was going to steal.
He was considering taking the money.
Then they saw the kid.
Oh, that's right. Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah. And then he goes to that other place. And then it's 10 years later. Mm-hmm. We're talking about 15 minutes of this character. This explanation and this transition is just so smooth
Yeah.
It's so clean. And then the story begins after that.
Yeah, and then the real
Yeah.
story.
And when you tell a story about somebody in like 30 years and then another 10 years, the chances of it being a mess,
it's pretty high, dude.
very high, most likely, right? Mike Flanagan tells you this short story of who this individual is, where he comes from to where he is now, so beautifully well done.
Yeah.
And it's just little scenes that you kind of understand, right? Like when he goes to when he leaves that girl's place, right? And you're kind of like, what kind of happened? What made him make this decision?
Yeah.
You know, and then he turns over and he sees the dead woman, and he sees the dead baby.
Yeah.
You know, like,
and that's what kind of like got
right. And you're just like, fuck. And obviously it's a shock factor for you. And then you just also feel like disgusted.
Yeah.
You kind of like this. He's a terrible individual, right? and then he's able to find his identity as Dr. Sleep.
Dr. Sleep, yeah.
In the
It's like an old, like a nursing home kind of.
nursing home. And then anytime the cat shows up and they're about to go, and he gives them that piece, and holy shit. that is probably one of the best introductions to a movie in just in character development.
Yeah.
You know, when you think of character development, it takes hours. It takes a full-length movie. Michael Flanagan was able to do that within 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And it is beautifully well done.
It's 15 minutes. It's definitely not.
Maybe 30 minutes?
It's like half hour.
Maybe 30 minutes?
Yeah. But once that's done, we're off and we're going.
Yeah. Then it's and obviously he's like left this life behind. He wants nothing to do with it. And he's just pulled back in by this girl that has the same ability. And she's the best at it.
Yeah.
She's a fucking badass.
She knows how to get into these people's heads. The what do they call them, man?
And you guys are saying it's your favorite movie.
I want to say they're gypsies. I'm just gonna say they're gypsies because that's what
it's like a traveling fucking.
Yeah, it's gypsy.
Yeah, so there's this family. They travel with each other, and their goal is pretty much to live eternally.
Yep.
And they feed off of
kids,
the Shining. No, they feed off
No,
the
people-
People,
Yeah, you know, kids, adults. You know,
and when you see how they do it too, they show you how like they lure these people in.
Yeah.
know?
So Michael Flanagan again. The guy in the van. It happens in this movie, right? So when they introduce this group, this guy lures this kid into a van.
The baseball boy.
Yep. And they take him, and the scene of them taking his Shining
God,
is
dude.
so horrifying, and
So
it's such a
uncomfortable.
fucking simple scene. You know, there's no special effects. They're stabbing him. My memory serves me right.
Yeah.
And pretty much he's screaming. His Shining's coming
And
out.
they keep taking.
Yeah, they keep taking it in, and they're on top of him like a fucking like pack of wolves.
Yeah.
You know, and it just makes you feel there's nothing special about it. It's just human beings on top of a kid, and they're fucking just stabbing him to death and just inhaling his Shining.
His essence, dude.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god. No, it's such a horrifying and such a uncomfortable scene watching that, but it's necessary to be like, okay, these motherfuckers gotta go.
Yeah.
You know, after that scene, it's like we gotta see these guys get fucking taken out.
Absolutely.
And I know that you're kind of breaking it down piece by piece, but I like the moment where they finally do kind of lure them into the woods with Abra and Danny and his best friend, and they just like
They're shooting them
they're
down
shooting
one
them
by
down with
one.
the rifles
Yep.
and everything.
Yep.
Oh my god, that scene! Oh, it was
But
so well done.
It's also a simple scene too. There's nothing like over the top in this movie
Nope.
that's like special effects crazy. The only thing that stands out special effects was the ghost of that woman with her child when he sees that, because she's obviously dead. But yeah, they're like, obviously these people are bad. We got to take them out, because he's not convinced that something is going on. So he takes his friend who has no idea what's going on, right? But for some reason he believes in Danny, and he has to be there for him, which you appreciate. That's a bro, man. That's a dog, you know. And they're digging and they find the boy's body, and their first instinct is, let's get the rifles. We're taking these guys out immediately, you know. And they call him out, and Abra,
yeah.
She does a good job luring them out, you know, using the Shining. And the second they all come out, they're shooting them, one by one.
And Abra wasn't even there. Was
she was not there.
She was in their house. And they think they got the upper hand.
Yes,
they got them all, but they've one left.
They make you feel like this is it.
This is the end.
And
and all the while, Rose, the main chick, like, she's feeling all of this. Like, all the people are dying. She's like, and they, like, she's fucking. You feel it too. You know, all of her family's fucking dying.
Right.
You know, it's and then Danny's friend. That one moment he looks.
Oh man, the girl tells him to shoot himself.
Shoot himself, and he shoots himself, and it's
that one hit hard. Obviously,
that did, yeah.
And then of course the climax,
the return to Overlook Hotel.
Yeah.
Fucking the build up.
The long drive.
The long drive, and you know Rose is behind them too.
Yeah.
And they know it, and they're driving over to the Overlook Hotel. Danny gets out of his car, tells Abra, just wait here. And she's like, well, why can't I go with you? He's like, I have to wake it up.
Yep.
And he literally has to go into the belly of the beast to wake up this fucking hotel.
The battle between Rose and him as well.
Yep. He's got the axe too. He's got the fucking axe.
The scene where he looks through the door.
Yeah.
From the first one.
Yeah. And then it cuts too. Right, and it's not from the original film. They reshot it with the actor who plays Jack Torrance's character. It was all remade, so it's not filmed. That's not scenes brought back from The Shining. They reshot it again.
Yeah,
just fucking awesome, you know.
And you know the scene when he's in the bar
with his dad,
and he's having a conversation with him and stuff.
And who's his dad? He's the Overlook Hotel.
Yep.
He takes over. He's the hotel talking to him.
Yep.
That's so fucking cool. Man.
So fucking good. And the climax between Danny and Rose.
Yeah.
When they're on the steps.
Dude, I got it right here.
Please.
Rose is like pinning him down, and she says, "What's in those? Something special, huh?" And Dan Torrance says, "They're not special. They're starving." And he unlocks all the spirits that he's trapped in those boxes and gives it to her.
Yep.
And they all come out and they start crawling over her and shit like that. And it's like, oh my God. Fuck yeah, dude.
So fucking good. And, you know, obviously the outcome is Danny dies. He passes away.
Yep.
But he's in partnership with Abra. Kind of like how what's his face?
Yeah, the black character.
Yeah,
the black guy was for him.
You know, and you can tell he's also at this point he's at peace.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
You know, because he is the definition of running from your past, right? Running from your regrets, and
running from your responsibilities.
Your responsibilities, absolutely, and oh God, this is such a fucking well done, beautiful movie. I am going to say this.
I know what you're going to say, Josh,
and I'm going to get hate from somebody in this room, but here's the thing: The Shining is a fabulous movie. It is a great movie. Unfortunately, the comment you made about Cronos. I can't see myself watching that movie again.
Dr. Sleep?
No,
Shining.
The Shining.
Oh.
There's something about it that makes it a hard movie, but it's like something that I still appreciate. I hold close to my heart. Dr. Sleep is better than The Shining.
It is. I have to agree.
And I can watch that movie over and over, not simply just because of the movie. It's a good Halloween movie. Because it's such a fucking well done movie, start to finish.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree, dude.
Holy shit!
is really good.
It is such a fucking good movie, and we were talking about actually what we watched this year, and it was a rewatch.
That's one of your favorite movies of the year?
Yeah, that is one of my favorite movies of the year.
Dr. Sleep. It's rare that a sequel ever surpasses its original, man.
Yeah.
Very rare, but The Crow surpasses the original?
No. To see if you guys agree too. In my opinion, Doctor Sleep it can stand alone. It doesn't have to be a sequel to The Shining in a way.
Yeah.
Yes and no.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I apologize.
No, I think that's why it didn't. I don't want to say. I don't know if it did well in the box office and all that. It's because I don't know if they promoted it well and all that. But to me, that's my opinion. Like it can be a sequel to The Shining, or it can be a standalone story.
Came out the same year as It Chapter 2.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of people were more gravitated towards that.
I definitely overlooked this movie, and I think I overlooked it. I took it for granted the first watch.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed it, but I was done with it.
Yeah.
The second watch made me appreciate and love this movie.
You're like, oh shit.
And in all honesty, I feel like I disagree. You have to watch it, the original one, in order to watch this, because the start of Doctor Sleep takes place right after The Shining.
Mm-hmm.
They love and Michael Flanagan does a really good job at. I'm so thankful that they didn't see. He could have CGI'd like Jack Nicholson, and the mom and stuff like that, but they played these actors really well. To like, she sounded like his mom.
Did. Yeah.
The guy looked like a young Jack Nicholson very well.
Yeah. He may not have acted as well, but I think he did a good job.
Yes,
he did a good job.
Agree.
Yeah.
I feel like you have to just for that, just because of the transition and then going back. Because if you want that good feeling of nostalgia, Ready Player One obviously did it well, but this is like the fact that it's a sequel and it's like we're going back.
Yeah, let's see what happened. Like how even the hotel is fucking overgrown and it's like decayed. And
when he's driving and she's like, "Where are we going?" and he's like, "Colorado."
Yeah.
Blah blah blah, and you're like.
And then the music starts to play.
And then the music starts to play. Yes. It is, dude. I think it knocks Shining down. If I were to say my top 5 horror movies, The Shining isn't even on there anymore.
It's Dr. Sleep.
It's fucking Dr. Sleep.
That's
high praise, man. That's high praise.
Yeah.
But I agree.
No, I agree too. I agree.
Have you seen Dr. Sleep? Man?
I have not. I want to now. I think The Shining is a hard watch.
It is.
I think that's why you're probably feeling like, I don't know if I can watch it again. And it's not because the movie stinks. It's just, it's kind of a grind.
It is.
It's a little bit of a grind.
It's a mixed movie too. I feel like you either love it or you hate it.
Yeah. It's just, it's such a uncomfortable movie. Not uncomfortable movie, but like so oppressive, dude. There's no... This is not a dig at The Shining, but there's like no bright spots. It's very bleak.
Yeah.
It's like trying to rewatch.
That's why it's a grind. You're just what? But I don't think we should take away from how it delivered that though, and I think it captured, like, really embodied misery, and loneliness, and just kind of.
You nailed it on the head.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
I agree.
But I think that's why it's hard to rewatch.
Without The Shining, there would be no Dr. Sleep.
That's right. That's what you have to. You have to go back to that.
Yeah.
But you said a while back, give the fucking keys to Michael Flanagan.
Yeah.
Right. You're absolutely right. This guy fucking knows Stephen King.
Does that get you excited for The Exorcist? Like,
absolutely. Yeah. I want to see more Stephen King movies done by this guy. And Michael Flanagan does a really good job, actually. Like when it comes to like human sorrow, what am I? I just had a brain fart. Mental illness. He does it best. You look at movies like...
He treats it with respect.
He does treat it with respect. When you look at movies like House on Haunting Hill, You know,
the shows. You mean
the shows. Yeah. You know,
Midnight Mass too.
Midnight Mass. You know, when he runs over that girl driving, and you know, nobody understands what he's going for. He doesn't love himself anymore.
Trauma. I think that's what he does best.
Trauma. Yes.
Trauma.
Yes. Thank you. House on Hunting Hill. The daughter, the sister. You know, she's being like stalked by this ghost who ends up, spoilers, being her. Right. You know, that was executed so well. Midnight Mass, Dr. Sleep, like, he was the perfect definition of trauma, you know,
and
like,
also questioning your own like beliefs.
Yeah,
you know? Mike Flanagan is such a great fucking director.
Absolutely.
So,
you guys keep forgetting, he, like you said, he knows Stephen King's work. But like you said, Midnight Mass, House on Haunted Hill. You guys keep forgetting it. He also did Oculus. That's another.
Oh, that's a trauma.
Didn't he do Hush?
He did Hush.
He did Hush.
So he knows what he's doing. Just like we were talking about Robert Eggers. Keep your eye on this guy. He knows what he's fucking doing.
Yeah, no.
You know, he understands Stephen King's work, but he understands, like you guys are talking about, trauma, mental health, loss, tragedy, all that shit. So yeah.
That's Dr. Sleep, man. Any final thoughts, Josh? Or?
If you appreciate movies, if you appreciate character development, like I do, watch Dr. Sleep. You know, like if you're studying film, watch Dr. Sleep.
I think it's in the book too. I think it's the book.
It's
a long as
book.
Reads? Yeah, no, that's Dr. Sleep. I'm glad you watched that one because I wanted someone else to be able to like talk about it.
No, I appreciate it. Cause I took that movie for granted. I did not give that movie its justice that it deserved. By you recommending it, I watched it in one sitting, and holy shit,
it's great, man.
It's such a fucking beautiful movie. So, yeah.
Well, Eric, you're our last one. You've seen a lot of the movies that were on the list in the last episode, but you wanted to focus on...
Yeah, we could focus on Barbarian. That's the one that caught my ear the most in the first episode that we did when we were ranking our top 5 underrated movies. That one caught my attention. I will lean on Josh a little bit because he's watched it as well to provide some perspective and insight on it.
Fill in the gaps a little bit.
Yeah, fill in the gaps and kind of help me navigate because you guys speak so eloquently. And I'm kind of like, wow. All right, gotta fucking figure
we
this
got
one
this
out.
low verbiage in our heads. We don't read enough books.
I know. So, let's do the synopsis.
Yes.
That'd probably be the best idea. And I did watch this recently. Obviously, I texted you guys the day I was.
You did, and I was surprised when you told me that you watched. I was like, oh, I gotta know what he thinks. Fuck! I clicked on it. Okay, here it is. Barbarian. A young woman staying at an Airbnb discovers that the house she has rented is not what it seems. That's it. That's the synopsis right there.
What the fuck? Okay.
And it's purposefully like that.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
So,
yeah.
I think that synopsis is a perfect fit for how the movie starts and then builds. I really was like captivated by this movie as it started because you start to really invest in those two original characters, particularly the girl. I don't remember her name, but
I don't remember her either. Yeah.
You know, it's you really want to like proceed with caution, kind of like as she is. She's kind of standing at the door.
That's a good way to describe.
Yes, like she comes up to this door in the house, and you can kind of tell that there's something going on in the environment.
Her name is Tess. Bill Skarsgård's character's name is Keith.
Tess. That's right, Tess. So you know, she goes to the door. She's trying to punch in the code, and you can just you can just get this feeling like, all right, something isn't right. And then what did you say?
Keith. Yeah.
Keith. Keith all of a sudden just appears out of like nowhere, and you are immediately like on high alert. Like, all right,
red flag.
Red flag. Like she's been like ringing this doorbell for like a minute, and this guy all of a sudden just like flips the light on, and you know, he casually walks to the door, and And as they enter the home, kind of realizing there was a mistake through the Airbnb, the mix-up, they start to bond, and then you kind of forget that there was maybe a little unsettling. They kind of start to bond, and it's a little romantic.
It lowers your guard. Right?
Yes, it does. Yeah. You kind of start to like, oh, they're kind of, they're kicking it off, and she's getting ready for this interview, and we all kind of can relate to that in life. Like, you're kind of calming the nerves. You've met someone, and you're kind of having a drink, and so you get, anyway, like you said, you let your guard down, you kind of forget what's going on, and then it still kind of remains strange at night with him kind of like...
Yeah, it looks like he's sleepwalking.
He's like sleepwalking or dreaming. Episode, yeah, he's having some...
Yeah, I don't think he was sleepwalking. I think he was like tossing and turning in his
paralysis.
bed, and he was like kind of like screaming.
Well, yeah, so...
And her door opens.
What's a neat detail is that it's not Keith who enters a room. It's the thing that...
Yes.
Yep.
Then you can hear the breathing and everything, and it's like, that's not... What the fuck is that? And then she wakes up and she thinks that it's Keith.
Yep.
Yeah.
And also the audience thinks...
Yep.
That it was Keith, right? Is that what you?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Because he's a strange character.
Yeah.
He's a nice guy, but it's like he's trying to be maybe like a little seductive.
I think it was smart that they used Bill Skarsgård for that role.
Because who is he?
Because what is he known for?
Fucking Pennywise, man.
Yeah. He's Nosferatu now too.
Yeah.
This guy is known.
He's
for
the crow.
He has a look.
He's the fucking crow.
He has like a look about. I don't know what it is. He's got this look to him.
Yeah,
he has a presence as an actor.
That is smart, actually.
Is
so
smart,
kudos to the director for doing that.
But I think it's interesting because he's kind of like having like this weird like kind of like seizure,
Yeah.
but and then that's it.
That is it, right?
That's kind of it. That's the end, and then so the build up was great, phenomenal, and then it gets real weird when they go downstairs and they find that room, the
trap room,
the
right?
trap room.
Yeah, she goes in after because Keith is not there anymore. She goes in, right?
Right, she goes in.
She goes in by herself.
She goes down there by herself.
Yeah.
And I think she finds the rope and she pulls it, and she goes in goes down like there's like a dark hallway, and then she finds the room on the left, and you can see where the camcorder is set up, and there's just like a dirty ass mattress and like a bucket with some blood on the wall, and then your mind really starts to wonder like, oh, what the fuck's going on here? And I remember you had mentioned like the body horror, so my mind was like starting to kind of like go down this road of like...
You're thinking like what's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I kind of started going on the road of Tusk a little bit.
Hey,
Shout out Kevin Smith.
That's I don't blame you. Yeah, I was going that road. Yeah.
And then, obviously, he goes down there because she's like, hey, there's a fucking room down there. Like, what the fuck's going on? And
keep in mind, too, the basement door is set up to lock.
Right, that's
when
right.
It closes.
They don't know
she's-
that, right?
So she's smart. She's like, fuck. There's a video camera. There's his bed. I'm fucking done.
That's
Get me
right.
the fuck out of here. And she's like waiting, and he's able to open the window, right? And then she squeezes out.
Yeah, she actually does things. Her behaviors are actually suggestive things where I think a lot of people are like, well, I would have done the same thing. Like, I would have propped the door open.
I'm glad you hit on that point because the director wrote this movie with that in mind, with that whole idea of like putting yourself in a situation where you'd say fucking nope and I would get out of there.
You have to have like that self-awareness where a lot of movies don't have that.
Yeah, and this movie kind of like goes the opposite direction. So like, for example, like she's about to leave and Keith is like, no, calm down, you don't need to call the cops and blah, blah, blah. Like, I'll go deal with it. Just relax. But you as an audience member are like, what the fuck no. This is exactly what you're not supposed to be doing. And that's like the entire film.
Yeah. Well, then the cops do show up and they don't do anything.
They don't do anything. So. But yeah, anyway, so.
Right. Ahead. No, so look, it really captures kind of like the common sense, right? Or at least it feels that way. Yeah. From one side of it. Like you've got like the one that's kind of like a little bit more like, all right, it's not a big deal. And one that's like, no, fuck this. Yeah, like where I think a lot of us kind of would feel that way. Then obviously the movie transitions to Justin Long, right? After they go down.
Yeah.
Now, wait, hold on. Before Justin Long, she goes down, he disappears.
Yeah, and she goes and finds him and she gets fucking killed by
Now she goes down there, finds another door,
Yeah, yeah.
walks down the door, and then there's a moment between her and the antagonist,
Yeah.
right? And then it cuts off, jumps to Justin Long, who seems to be in every horror movie also. And I like Justin Long, by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
In
I'm a
Tusk,
fan.
right? I think he's actually he's such an interesting character. But I mean, he's good in these horror movies. But then it transitions to Justin Long's character, excuse me, and then you have to kind of reset.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
it is,
you have to
yeah.
completely reset and be like, who the fuck is this guy?
What happened just now?
What just happened?
Yeah.
He's a completely different character. Like he's a more high profile public figure, a lot of drama, a little bit of a douchebag. Like he's kind of the opposite of the original two characters, where they had a little bit more of a connection.
Yeah.
Down to kind of more grounded, where he's just like cruising in his fucking
Yeah.
convertible, drop down, and then he's caught up in a sexual harassment case, you know. And then he's like, they start talking about the properties, and you're like, okay, all right, maybe he's part of this weird shit going on with the property. It's in Michigan? Detroit,
yeah.
right? So I'm guessing this film is supposed to maybe be taking place during like recession. I don't know, and all the houses were getting abandoned. I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah.
so anyway, you start to get this. They start tying it together slowly. Then he goes out to this property, and you could tell his character is so disconnected. Then you start to question, like, well, he seems real disconnected with his property and people living there. And then he's calling his property manager, like, hey, what the fuck's going on? There's people's shit here. So then you start to question, like, maybe he's not the weirdo. Like, what's going on in this house? Has he just abandoned this house? And someone has basically commandeered it and turned it into something else, like a vagrant, kind of like a squatter. So you start to question a lot of things, and your mind begins to like create the story a little bit as it's progressing, or at least that's kind of how I felt. Like,
That's how I felt too.
Yeah, like what the fuck's going on here? All right, that's the first half, right?
Yeah,
We move into the second half. Feel free to interject if you want, whenever you need to.
Also, before you do that, I like the moment where Justin Long's like finds the basement, and he's like, rather than freaking out, he's like, oh, I can add this as part of the
Property value.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
he's not thinking at all about
He's
like
just brain dead. Like,
Here was my thought process with Justin Long's character. He's driving, he's singing. You're like, oh, this is a good guy. Like he's positive attitude, right? Yeah. And then he gets on that phone call, and then they're like, oh, you're a sexual harassment case, and you kind of like, and he's like, oh, and you're kind of like, you feel for him a little bit. You're like questioning, like, you know,
society. We see this in society.
Exactly.
Like you don't really know.
Did he really sexually harass this girl? You know, like interesting, right? You kind of feel for him a little bit. And then he's in the bar, and he's like,
he's drunk with his friend.
Yeah, he's like, so what happened? What happened? He's like, yeah, I just kept asking, and then we banged.
Yeah,
you know.
Turns out he was a douchebag.
Yeah, and then like, oh,
she took some convincing.
Yeah, it took some convincing. Like, oh, you're a piece of shit. And then the measuring tape of the house, because he's now like thinking about money and stuff, and you're like, oh, this guy's a douche.
And you know what's the fucking like little twist on this is like, he's our new protagonist now. He has to fucking save Tess. Like this guy was a fucking asshole, you know?
Yeah.
He shifts a little bit because then he shifts to the protagonist.
He plays with you. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. He's an interesting character because they built him to be like, well, is he a piece of shit? Yes. But then he turns into the protagonist where he's got to go down and, like you said, he's a little oblivious. He's real caught up in the money. Yeah, he gets the fucking tape measure, starts measuring out like, oh, I didn't know this was down here, and he's not even thinking like, where did this come from?
Yeah.
So anyway, and then he even opens up the second door. So his character is so interesting. He doesn't even give a shit about the bloody mattress with the room and the tripod.
Very selfish.
Yeah, selfish. Yeah. And then he's like, oh, another door, and he goes down a fucking, like I think you explained it as like an excavated hallway.
Yeah.
That's just pitch black, and he's just rolling that tape measure. I'm trying to figure out a way to get into this next part where they reveal
what it is,
what's going on. And this is where I kind of felt like I started to get a little bit lost, detached from the movie. Maybe because there was like a massive buildup, and I was expecting something different. I'm kind of at a loss.
So-
What would you say about that? I'm trying to figure out a way to segue
So
into this.
they get caught, right? He gets caught
Right.
by this fucking woman,
Like a
mutated woman. Yeah,
Kind of mutated-ish
she's tall,
woman.
she's butt ass naked,
lanky and shit.
Yeah, you know, she's obviously not human, and
Well, she's human. I think she's just severely inbred,
Yeah.
she's deformed.
deformed. But we're talking generations of deformities. It's almost like
Right.
she's
It's like some
evolved.
Hills Have
So-
Eyes type of shit.
Yeah, exactly.
The biggest thing is obviously she has identified these people as her babies.
Right.
You know, so she throws Justin Long into this like pit, and then you find out that what's her face is still alive.
Tess, yeah.
Tess is still alive, right?
Right.
And
Where Keith is dead. We know he's dead.
we know he's dead, but like she's feeding like Tess like a bottle, and then she's trying to give it to Justin
Long's
Long,
character,
and
yeah.
she's like, just drink it, you know, and he's obviously like freaking out.
His character becomes weak now because he's just like, kind of wigging out. And he's got no
He's Justin
backbone.
Long in every other
Right.
horror.
No backbone, no poise, nothing.
They end up getting out. Long story short,
Yeah.
and he runs into this guy, which turns out to be her father.
Yeah.
And then they do a flashback of him, who was known for pretty much he would find a woman.
Right.
Assault her, yeah.
He would put on some outfit, act like a
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
a-
he was pretending to be some kind of like a
utility
utility
guy.
guy.
Yeah,
Hey, I'm going
electrician
to
guy.
check your gas meter.
and then
man.
he would rape women.
Right.
And then it would turn out that he would rape these women, have their babies,
And then
and then he
does
would
the same
continue
thing
to
over
rape,
and over, yeah.
continue to rape,
Yeah.
and then this is what we got.
Yeah.
An inbreded, mutated mother.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's, yeah.
But what's interesting about this scene too is Justin Long has like a coming to Jesus moment.
Yeah, he does. Because he goes into he finds, I don't know the guy's name, do we?
I don't think we
No, there's a name because he's communicating with the neighbors, and the neighbors are during the flashback. And real quick, when we say flashback, we're talking like
70s.
yeah,
Yeah.
like it's going back like 30 years, 40 years, or something like that from the timestamp of where the movie's currently happening into the past. We're talking like a 40-year span when it was like a totally different neighborhood, because the neighborhood's basically just been abandoned at this point, and his house stayed in like immaculate condition. Right, it was just like well maintained. So, yeah, he goes into his room and he finds all the tapes where he was recording, probably where all the raping or whatever was going on, and starts watching it. Now you don't actually see what's going on, which you could say that's fine or not. I think it would add probably some shock value if it did, but it did not. And he did have a coming to Jesus moment and realize like, well, this is fucked up. Like, that's not right. This isn't good. And then I think he ends up. The guy basically knows, like, okay, he's dying on this bed. He finds this man that owns the house. Technically, he owned the house originally, just dying in this dark room down in this excavated tunnel.
Yeah.
And he's just dead, and he's old and decrepit, and he hands him a gun, and he just puts him out of his misery. But then the movie kind of continues on with this mother that is basically like an animal.
Yeah.
And chases them out of the house, and it gets a little goofy, kind of weird. I don't. There's the homeless guy that like knows that she's in there, right?
Yeah.
And he's
And
like,
he's warning her.
he's warning her.
Keep in mind, Justin Long also at this point accidentally shot her.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
yeah, he's right. He accidentally shot her. It starts to kind of go all over the place a little bit. And I'm having a hard time
He shot her.
remembering.
Yeah, so he had
No,
the gun.
not an accident. I think he did it on purpose. So the monster.
No, we were talking about before, right? Or
Before, yeah, in the so he's still down there, and then being the good person that Tess is, she goes back
to save him.
to save Justin
And
Long,
he shoots her on accident.
and then he shoots her by
That's,
accident.
oh, that's right. Yeah, he shoots Tess by mistake because she's like running down the dark hallway, and he's just kind of freaking out, and he just shoots her.
Yeah.
Now she lives, but I think what ends up happening is this mother gets like upset and thinks her child's been like hurt. So I think that's why she chases them out of because they escape out of the house.
Yeah.
But then she pursues them beyond the house. And then you start to kind of see like his true colors when they are running from this, like this mutated.
Yeah. Just call him a mutant, I guess.
Yeah, mutant. And they run on the top of that water tower, and he basically tries to like,
You're slowing me down.
you're slowing me down, and I'm going to sacrifice you so I can get away. And I can't remember what happens. They both fall off. Or no. The woman.
This is
He shoves her off the top.
My favorite part of this movie.
Okay.
He pushes her off.
Right.
Tess is falling, and then the mother is like, "My baby."
Yeah, jumps off to
jumps
save
off
her.
to save her, and she's still fucking alive. Tess is still alive.
Yeah, well,
Alive.
you could say she broke her fall and didn't end up killing her, and because the mutant at that point is basically like, well, not dead, right? Because then Justin Long goes to check on him, and then the monster comes back and like fucking just fatalities, fucking
Yeah, fatalities,
right?
Gouges his fucking eyes out, and and then Tess just like
Blows her,
finishes it and
shoots
just
her in the head.
kills her,
Yeah.
yeah, and then that's where
Puts it
ends.
out of her misery. I think it wants her to. Right?
I don't know if it does. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you remember if
Look,
that's what it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
it
I
was
don't
a very the way the movie started was phenomenal, dude. The synopsis, it was in alignment with the synopsis. You got really connected with the characters. Then you got kind of thrown a curveball a little bit with Justin Long's character, and you kind of had to reset your brain a little bit.
Yeah.
And it had a great build up. It built, and then it kind of got a little bit. I think it got a little bit distorted at the end with lack of information with the guy. Like they did the one flashback with him, where you had to kind of assume he was kidnapping and raping women. I mean, he was, but like it was very. It was like a one scene where it shows him going into one house.
Right.
Right. So.
Well, the homeless guy also like explains it, I believe.
Yeah.
Like when they're sitting down.
He explains it a little bit, and then they kill him off right away. That's what I mean. Like it was like an abrupt killing. So it went from like this really well paced build up to kind of abrupt, quick, out of sync a little bit, like scenes, or at least that's kind of how it felt to me as it was progressing. I'm just talking about the progression.
They definitely rushed it towards the end. I think it was kind of just like they were running out of steam.
Sounds like you didn't like this movie. Just say it, man.
No, I think I felt disappointed because I had the reverse effect where you guys just kind of jumped into these movies, boom, expectations were low. I think I got real hooked into his explanation because the explanation was phenomenal, and it actually was kind of like on point.
Yeah,
he didn't give up the ending. He didn't give up what was going on. He did everything he needed to do. Alberto laid this film out perfectly.
Yeah.
And then
that was
he
the
just
problem, I think.
pointed. No, he just pointed. He said, "Hey, this is what's going on." I had no clue what to expect. I went into it. I went in halfway through. It's not you didn't make the movie, right? So I think I'd probably give it like a 6.5. I mean, it's look. I think there are people out there that would enjoy it for sure.
Yeah.
And I think when you said, I think the word that got me was body horror. I started thinking this was going to be some like crazy fucking like cannibals or some crazy shit.
I think
it was not like that.
So in horror movies, there's always the moment where the like, for example, like the Babadook, right? It's like your imagination of what it is worse than what they show you. I think that's what like Barbarian did.
Yeah,
is that, like you thought up something so much more horrific than what they actually like ended up showing. I think
what they actually ended up showing was not even anywhere in the same universe of where my mind was going, and that's not always a bad thing. I just think it was almost like you're waiting for this ultimate villain, and it never really showed up, and there was kind of two of them. But the one that was like really like the catalyst to all the problems going on with this like morphed human or like inbred woman, it was just like there was nothing to him. He was just dying in a bed and fucking shot and killed him. He just basically was like, "Here, kill me. I'm a piece of shit." That was kind of the climax, and then then they kind of Felt maybe a little bit forced at the end with what do we do now with this mutated, generations of mutation human person,
Going back to body horror too, when I think of body horror, I think of movies like Hellraiser, The Fly.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Hellraiser. This one was just more of I don't want to say body horror. Just more of a.
It's hard to explain.
Yeah,
because they did this so well.
Yeah.
The first half of the movie, they set it up beautifully, and then I think they fell short. Kind of with the end.
How do you guys rank this movie?
I rank it pretty high, honestly.
What do you guys give it?
I'll say an 8.
An 8?
I think I'd give it probably. I tutor between like a 7 and an 8. Mostly an 8, I think.
If I were to summarize this movie, I would say that it was smart and original that turned out lazy and dumb.
Towards the end. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the disconnect was in the first half. Like, and then, God, it was so good. And then it was...
Yeah.
It felt like a little flat.
Yeah, like...
Could have been the greatest of all time, and then it wasn't.
It was so interesting because, like, when I got really annoyed at that scene with Keith, when she was like, we need to go. We need to get the fuck out of here. I appreciated that.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to get out of there and then something was going to happen. If you, like, came up to me and you came out of nowhere, Edgar, and you were like, let's get the fuck out of here. Like, I'm like, dude, enough. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
But see,
that was just dumb.
That's why I feel like that. I think part of it that is the point, was that the director wanted to show all the red flags of all of these situations that could happen. But I guess it just...
I think it's daring
and didn't land for some people. So.
And I just...
Well, okay, hold on. At the end, when he pushes, and again, I'm not the greatest at telling the story, and I apologize. Like, you guys are really good at describing your movies, and I'm sitting here like fumbling my words. But at the end, when he pushes her off I think they're on like a water tower.
Yeah, water tower.
Right?
Yeah.
He pushes her off, and then you see the beast or whatever it is. I can't even describe what it is, but she jumps off, and she's like reaching for her, kind of, and I'm like, that just, man, I don't know, it just didn't stick, I guess. I don't know, it just didn't stick. Which is
fine. I was kind of expecting that it was going to make it or break it for you guys, For me, it just did that. I liked it, I played with it. It was like, oh, no, I'm along for the ride.
I'm glad I watched it, though. Like, this isn't like something I was disappointed watching. Like, it was definitely something like, I don't mind adding an arsenal of movies into my mental library. Like, I like watching and talking about them. So this was definitely one that it was like, I'm glad I watched it. Like, I don't want to just always be watching a great one, because then you end up watching a great one and then it feels good to like, okay, that was great. Yeah. And then it's like, okay, well, this one had potential and they were going somewhere and then it fell flat, right? So it is what it is. I thought it was, I'm not disappointed I watched it. I'm glad I did. I hope other people watch it as well. So for the people out there in listener land, I apologize that my descriptions of these are kind of fucking...
I think you did a great job.
No, you didn't find that.
But anyway.
It does its job because, like, I can't say I like the movie, but I want my wife to watch it because I want to know what she's...
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's something unique about it.
Right.
Therefore, it did its job to an extent.
Yeah. No,
agreed. It is very unique, and I would encourage other people to watch it too, because I think my opinion, your opinion is still going to be vastly... I think there's people out there that are going to be more on like, this is like an 8 or a 9.
Yeah.
And I would not even blame them. I just think for me, maybe it was because I dipped too much into the body horror, thinking like Hellraiser, Tusk, phenomenal body horror. Even a little Jeepers Creepers, you got Justin Long in there, right? He's already a part of it. He's already been in those weird movies.
Human Centipede.
I have not seen the Human Centipede. I think I'm afraid to watch it, but maybe that's a sign of watching.
Right.
You know what I mean? So maybe it's a sign that I got to go watch that movie now. But anyway, no. Look, I'm really happy I watched it. I enjoyed watching it. I just think my expectations were too high in this situation. It fell a little flat for me. But golly, man, I've never seen a movie that had such a 10.
Yeah.
It literally was like a 10.
Yeah.
For 50% of the movie, and then it drops down to like a 50. So, or like to a 5, half. So that's why I'm about like 6.5. So again, I'm glad I watched it. I hope other people out there watch it too. I'm not going to tell you not to. I would love to know feedback.
I mean, we spoiled it for everybody who watched it.
Really?
Still
Not
go see
really.
it.
Dude, I was hooked. Like I was hooked. I just think I think my mind did it to myself. I did it to myself. So.
Well, I mean, there's another movie that you watched that I want to hear what your opinion was. I know Edgar is One Cut of the Dead.
Okay.
So
One Cut of the Dead.
Let's touch on that. We're not going to take too much time as we do with Barbarian. I think we're going to take a little bit less time, but I want to hear what your thoughts were.
Yeah. So One Cut of the Dead. I was very interested in this movie as well when you guys talked about it. I don't know where to start with this one. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I do not mean this in a bad way. I have never been so... This movie literally starts... the way it starts is like in the middle, kind of. Like the movie starts in the middle. And you're watching it and you are just debating in your head like, can I take this seriously? What is going on? I don't know anything about these characters. You know nothing about the characters. You just know that there is some event going on. You start to realize, okay, there's infected, maybe it's zombies. They're kind of clueless. They don't know what to do. They seem like they're a little bit, what do you call it? Like they've got no common sense. They're running around in this warehouse, clueless. And you find yourself like, what? Why would they? What just happened? Like, why is this guy running outside? Like, and he's coming back inside and he's vomiting. Like, what's going on here? And then they're kind of like telling stories about like, oh, this place is haunted. Like it's been told that there's these experiments were going on here. So then you start to kind of wonder like, okay, are they living in like an apocalyptic event? And then there's a lot of chaos ensuing, and you start to realize that there is like zombies of some sort kind of chasing them around, and some of the characters kind of are getting picked off one by one. And then they're on the roof, and you could tell something's way off because one of the characters gets stabbed, and then 5 minutes later kind of wakes up briefly, and you're like, what was that? Yeah. What just happened there? And then there's a girl screaming on a pentagram.
Yeah. All this sounds disjointed, Josh. That's on purpose.
That's basically what's
it's on
going
purpose. So are you okay that we're spoiling this?
Please do. I'm not going to watch it.
I don't know. I think you should.
I think you're going to regret saying that.
Yeah.
Really?
So what Eric explained was the first portion of the film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're led to believe that you're just watching this terrible fucking zombie film. And
with a terrible director.
With it, yeah, terrible, yeah. And
he's running around trying to film it.
Okay, so that's the first part, is you're watching this movie and it's like, what the fuck's going on? The second part is, we were just watching a director make this movie, and he's fucking it all up. And so the second part is, all right, let's start back from the beginning and see how he was making this movie. And you realize, well, you can jump into it. It was like, he was given this fucking script to make, right? And it's like
they gave him the script and said, hey, it's one cut. We're gonna live stream it. So really, what's happening is at the beginning of the movie, you're watching a director film a live one cut movie on a live stream.
Says the second section of the film is a flashback involving the personal lives of the fictional cast and crew of a production called One Cut of the Dead, a film within the film of the same title, thus making true fear the movie that you're watching, a film within the film within another film within the film.
What the fuck? Okay. All right. I'm interested.
And then the director of a TV drama starring alcoholic actor is approached by network executives to direct a low-budget zombie film in one take to launch their new zombie channel. He's reluctant but accepts in the hopes of reconnecting with his daughter, who's also a part of the film. a horror movie fanatic, and then they start like recruiting all the people that are going to be part of the movie, and then the third section of the film depicts the chaotic shooting of the one cut of the dead from behind the scenes. So you're seeing how everything is being done.
Right. So everything that you're seeing in the first 30 minutes, you get the full explanation for in the last like hour.
Yeah.
And then they really open up about the characters, their background, like a little bit more of the personal lives. So you kind of actually get to see what they're experiencing in their personal lives leading up to it, the stress. And then you actually realize that the guy is a good director. He actually is a good director.
He's a good director. He's dealt the shitty hand.
Right. He's dealt a shitty hand, but what he's tasked to do, he actually does a decent job at it. And so, you're kind of in the first half of the movie, you're really like, you're just criticizing what's going on. You're like, this is fucking
This is a
shit.
terrible fucking zombie movie. Yeah.
Horrible. But then after you see what they're up against, and this is all about money and there's politics and he's kind of stressed out. And like you said, there's actors on the set that have never, I don't even think really even acted. There's one that's kind of entitled.
Yep.
There's another one that's like, I think she's kind of famous. Am I wrong about that?
I think you're right. Yeah.
She's like a young girl.
Yes.
So there's some entitlement, and then there's like him kind of just like, he's got his wife who then all of a sudden joins the cast because there's a character that drops out. And she's acted before, but he's kind of like, I think he's like a little bit worried that she might
overreact.
Exactly. Take his moment from him. Is that right? Am I right about that?
Yeah.
Take his moment from him, but I think in the end it kind of united them and brought their marriage kind of back together. So it kind of is like a feel good story in the end.
Yeah, it's not really. That's the thing. Is it horror? It's labeled as a horror, but it's not really a horror. It's like a comedy drama.
Yeah, it's not really a horror.
But I love how like there's this mirage of like, oh, you're watching a horror movie. It's called One Cut of the Dead and blah blah blah. But then you continue watching it, it's like, oh, it's really about how fucking hard it is to make movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just how everything doesn't go according to plan. Or how about a director is just like, fuck this, I gotta take the reins of this and I gotta really like step up.
And they get really detailed in the second part of the movie with showing how they're executing a lot of the deaths, a lot of the moments with the zombies, like what's going on with some of these characters in those moments, because there's like all these like kind of like edge of your seat, like, oh my god, like this guy's drunk, passed out, puking, and they're trying to like shove him in there to get into the scene, into the cut as the zombie, and just like it's all just like living by like the skin of their fucking teeth every second in the second half. So I would almost say that the second half of the movie is a little bit more intense because you're actually invested in seeing how they're pulling it off.
Yeah.
And how all these little things are happening. Like, how is this going to happen? You know what I mean? So it's there's just a lot more that's going on in the second half that I think you appreciate more about the movie, and you look back and you're like, man, I'm glad I got through the 30 minutes of the movie.
That's the thing, right? It's like it's such a big ask for people because you put this movie in and you're just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, this movie's so disjointed. There's no plot. What's going on? And then when you watch the later half, you're like, that's why this character was stumbling for no reason, and then he fucking walks off the camera. Like, everything is meticulous.
Yeah.
It's
meticulous.
Actually, to me, I don't know about you, Eric, but to me, it's like very fucking genius.
Yeah, it was satisfying.
It was really cool.
So you enjoyed that more than Barbarian?
I did because it was so unique, and because it was the reverse of Barbarian. It was the reverse. It was like, oh Jesus, and then it was like, wow, what a creative movie! Like,
really good.
The work put into seeing how they did it was more gratifying than actually watching what they had produced.
Yeah.
And so, what a great movie! I'd probably give it like a. I don't know if it really fits. Like here's the thing: the score will be a slightly lower because I don't really know if it's a horror movie, like
Fair.
true horror.
Yeah.
But I'd probably put it like a 7.7, something like that. Like I mean, it was a fascinating movie.
You wait, IMDb on that score 1.7 or 7.7.
Was it?
Yeah, it's an IMDb score.
I didn't know. Is that what the actual score of the movie was?
No, but they do the
right.
points and the.
Well, it's
And what's great
No,
is
it's good,
that
though.
what's great is that we explained it. I don't think we explained it without really giving it away, which feels weird because we did.
Yeah.
But once you, I hope
I had
you
no
watch it.
clue.
Like if you watch it,
No, I'm interested now because it sounds smart.
You're gonna be like, oh, this is fucking hilarious. This is funny, but it feels like when you're recommending it to someone, you almost have to tell them it's a horror movie.
Huh.
You have to kind of like hook them in and lie to them, because if you don't and you tell them like, oh, well, it's not a horror movie, it's kind of this and that, whatever, you're gonna be like, I'm not interested. It's almost like how the movie lies to you about it being a horror movie. Also, you kind of have to pitch it to someone like it's a horror movie for them to watch it.
Japanese, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's why it was called, because even the title, I was like, why would it be called One Cut of the Dead? And I was thinking of a totally different, my mind was like thinking of something completely different. And then you realize they were talking about, it's literally like one take.
Yeah.
So.
It's
Great watch. Great watch. Hard.
Yes.
But man, you feel really good if it's one of those things you get through and you're like, oh, thank God I hung in there.
It's now going to be much more easier for you to watch it because we've explained it. But once you see it, you're just like, this is fucking not good at all. But it's on purpose, and I fucking love it. But like it's
So I got one more question. You watched the big bulk of our suggestions.
Yes, I did.
What did you watch? Just give us a list.
So to recap, I watched Barbarian, One Cut of the Dead, Jacob's Ladder.
Oh,
and then Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Damn.
Which was your favorite out of that list? What did you say?
Man,
Jacob's Ladder. Wow.
Did you watch that one too?
Yeah.
What did you think of that?
Oh, which one?
Jacob's Ladder.
I loved it.
I gotta pick your brain on that one.
Man, that's a tough one. I think the best one was probably Jacob's Ladder. I think Bram Stoker's Dracula had an enormous amount of potential. Loved some of the filming, how they did it with, like I was explaining earlier, like the way the way Gary Oldman embodied like that character especially in the beginning, with his with the vocals. The costume design, how they had the shadows, his shadow in the background, reflecting different movements than his body, and then he's his shadow. You see his shadow on the wall, but he's really standing over here, and it's just creepy, and he's real slick. But then it kind of like I said, it was just confusing.
Yeah.
So it got confusing. Like the story got real like messy and clunky, and like just not like didn't understand like. There were characters they were showing in the past, then in the future, but there was no explanation of how they got from A to B, and then there was a werewolf, or what I thought was a werewolf. Not sure what was going on there. So I'd probably go Jacob's Ladder. Out of the ones I watched, Jacob's Ladder, One Cut.
Barbarian? Or
Man, I think I'm going to go Barbarian, only because I knew what the fuck, I guess, in the end was kind of you kind of knew what was going on. Where Bram Stoker's was it felt so unorganized as it progressed. I just couldn't, like, I was like, man, this is like, talk about wasted potential. Like, there was a part at the end where they're like riding on horses into the castle. And I'm like, who are they fighting? Who are these guys that they're fighting and having
kind of like,
you know what I'm talking about? Like, they're like sword fighting guys.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who are these fucking guys? The whole movie has been Gary Oldman fucking being he's at his...
I think he hated that movie, actually.
Like, he's at Castlevania, or I'm not Castlevania, Transylvania. He's over here in fucking Transylvania. Then he's in London, and he looks like a young stud. And then he over here, I have no fucking idea what's going on. Like, and they're sword fighting these fucking Mongolian guys.
I like how you were more confused by Bram Stoker's Dracula over One Cut of the Dead, which I think One Cut of the Dead would have been a lot more confusing.
Well, One Cut of the Dead did it right, man. They did it right. But no, Jacob's Ladder definitely was one, because I think that was definitely, the way I interpreted that was, he was in his last stages of life. He was in Vietnam, and then he was basically like, it's the flash before your eyes. They say that your life flashes before your eyes, right? And I think that's really what that was. He was kind of just fading off, but it was good. I thought that Jacob's Ladder was really well done, and it was a little bit of a mind fuck.
Yeah,
like it fucked your mind for sure. But that's one that I would highly recommend.
That's why I wish you guys could play Silent Hill 2, because that is so much like Jacob's Ladder. It's so much like Jacob's Ladder. Like, that's why I love Silent Hill 2 so much is because it takes so much inspiration from that
Interesting.
movie. Yeah. So, goddamn. But that's a Jacob's Ladder. I also agree. That would have been my top as well. Well, it was. It's number one, but yeah.
You know, Jacob's Ladder, really good movie. Really, the reason why I didn't want to I didn't want to spend too much time on Jacob's Ladder is because I kind of felt like we were all in alignment that one was just like on another tier. So that there wasn't much wrong with it. Look, when you watch it again, don't know if I'd watch it again. Funny we talk about it, but it was very well done, very well made. I highly recommend you watch it. It's hard,
man, from Tim Robbins.
Oh, he's great.
So fucking good.
Can you imagine Tom Hanks playing him? I don't think he would be able to.
Tom Hanks was
supposed to play.
No
does
way.
Not seem like a Tom
Yeah.
Hanks movie, dude.
I'm
glad Tom.
Great
stayed out of
actor,
that.
but I don't think he could have sold that.
No. I don't think he would either. But yeah, no. This is a great episode. I really liked hearing you guys talk about Barbarian, especially. I wanted to hear what you guys thought about that. But hopefully this encouraged people to go out and watch these movies, even though we spoiled the shit out of it. I think you will still find some entertainment value out of it. You know.
I think that's what you said in the last one too.
The last episode, yeah, we did spoil it then too. But
yeah,
spoiled it even more.
Yep.
So I mean, if you've gotten this far and you're just like, oh, these guys, we told you in the beginning that we were going to spoil it. But yeah. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed listening to us talk about these films. It was really fun to talk about it. We'll probably do this again where we recommend each other something to watch. But this has been great. Josh, thank you for being on the podcast. Same, Eric. This was great.
Always a pleasure, right, Josh?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Oh,
I don't have. No, do I have that one?
Are you okay with Coke?
No, that's the Coke one. Anyways, thank you guys for listening. Like I said at the top of the podcast, go and just comment down below. Tell us what you think. Have you seen any of these movies? I'd like to hear what your guys' opinions are. And follow us on It's Called Two Bros on TikTok and on Instagram. Share this with your friends and don't spread the good word. So this has been Two Brothers. Josh, do you have anything else to say?
Is this like football?